All right, I am just testing the sound. All right, I am just testing the sound. Okay, so I really wanted yesterday to do another Sunday live stream, but I unfortunately was a bit too tired and was visiting a friend. So when I came home, it was a bit too late for that. So I want to make up for it today by making this stream now. And if I remember correctly, then the last time we were here, we got a lot of good things going. So let's try and just see where we came from. So we can build a road, build intersections. We can do like this, all with no issues in terms of making too many nodes or anything like that. So we can effectively build some roads now that have a decent, decently working functionality. We might revisit it at some point if it gets too much, if we start noticing some significant errors. Then we can go to click on tool. Now we can go to the house builder. Then we can right click and rotate it around. Then we can put it like this. It makes a house, makes a new road, makes a person move in. But if I remember correctly, there was some issues in terms of um, if there was more than one road, it might connect to the wrong road. Yeah, as you can see here, it creates to this road up here, which of course we wanted to connect to the closest one. So that would be the first thing to fix today, and then we could slowly start moving towards setting up for pathfinding at least, because that's going to be a big mouthful to get set up. So first things first, we look at the house builder. We just have this house builder simple. We have this house angle, which is controlled by action handler. Okay. So here we can see we have house angle. So we created these systems to handle this exactly. And now I opened up all the events of the action handler, so we can look little bit at what happens here. Right? We have these two extra builders that make roads and houses. That's fine. We go in here. Here we set the action to the set angle, and here we go back to stop setting angles again. It's pretty simple. Um, so we want to find the place in which, and I'm pretty sure it was here already. Pretty sure it's in here, where we find this collision road, right? From the house to the right? And so, hmm, so I'm pretty sure that this collision line, and we can actually let's go and see collision line. Yeah, and we have it with the list. I already searched for the one with the list. Yeah, yeah, exactly. So it says any of the IDs could be returned, right? Um, Now we see actually we have the solution right here. So we see whether it should be ordered by distance or not. And so we know at least if it's sorted by distance and it's the closest one first or the farthest one first. We don't know for sure. I don't think it specifies. Um, and it's safest to this Boolean list. So we have to do a little bit of some extensive calculations in here, but that's actually fine. So I assume that um, I assume that this I assume that this here. I don't know if this is exactly the one, but I assume that we know here. We can assume that that no, I completely lost it. We can assume that we know that there is a collision road, right? Because otherwise, I don't think we would get into this place in the first place, into this event. So we can assume that there is a road that is colliding with the arrow, and so instead of having it like this, we can basically just add an extra line. This is list. Right now, it's no longer agreeing to this um, because it needs two more arguments. And so we can have a list. I mean, I guess we have to make a list actually. Var road list or collision road list. And it has to be like this DS list. So that's fine. We have this for temporary uses. We put the list in here and we order it and we say true. So order it by distance, okay? And what does it return? It returns a real. Why? Number of instances. Okay, so actually what we're gonna do is we're gonna put these into two different functions. And we're just gonna say, I think this can be run with itself without, like it doesn't need to have to be saved to a value. And then we can say this list, and, and then we can just take the first element of the list. That should be pretty simple. We can just try and see if it works now. Like we can put out some rows, and then we can put some houses there. Trying to index a variable which is not an array. Okay, so I guess we have to do some weird as ds list. Isn't it just like a get or something? Read? Is there a read? That's a bit. I mean, it's a bit. No, that's not what I want. Like how? I'm not. Uh, ds list create. Oh, okay. So we need that little thing there, I guess. That's oh, that's the syntax. Let's see if it works now. Yeah, seems to work. Oh, but I never. That's a very. That, okay, maybe I. I mean, so I guess we can say that it works. We have this little there. Uh, I see. Okay. So where are we now? So the next step is to figure out why it's doing it like this. Let me just see again. So there was definitely some weird mechanisms going on here with. So sometimes it works maybe if it's close to a node. I don't know why was it working so weirdly before. As far as I remember, I have not incorporated any sort of snapping or anything like that. You know. Okay. Um, yeah. See here. See what in what is going on? I mean, I'm definitely doing something wrong somewhere. Uh, Let me just make sure that. Hmm. Is this because of the way I'm something to do with the road angle? It doesn't really make sense, right? Oh, now it's pouring outside. What about it? Hmm. So I'm calculating. Excuse me. This is the exact same way that I'm. Oh, there we go. I thought it was some weird stuff like that. Let's see if that's enough to solve the problem. Yeah, it looks pretty good now, right? Oh, what is it? No, it did that again. I need to see if I can recreate this issue. Hmm. Very. It's, yeah, I don't. But I think it's quite important that we make sure this is not like something that can happen. Like again, there. Why? Why does that? How do we? Hmm. So when it's order, is it order by distance? So that mean again, that's we don't know if that's the closest or the. But we fixed the weird issue, right? So that's great. Now let's try test it with like three. Okay. See, it's very arbitrary choices. There it makes sense because I'm not colliding with the road. And there it doesn't make sense because why? Well, here I think I'm too close. Here it does not make sense. Okay, so there's clearly still some issues in terms of choosing which road it should be. And I mean, so one thing we could do is, try and draw the entire list. That's just quite annoying, a lot of work. So I'm just thinking about what can we do really to. Because this is one big segment, right? I'll agree on that. Okay, let me just try and do like this. Don't think this has anything to do with it, but I think this makes it easier for me. So from like it's a list collision lines, yeah, and I don't. The problem is that this is not even like okay. So the question is how they calculate this, right? From the start of the line to their origins. From the start of the line to their origins. I don't even know what that means. You also have the option to order the instances based on their distances from the start of the line to their origins. What is the so this is the start of the line. What is the start of it? From this to their origins. Ah, but that's not what we want here, right? We don't want to base it off the origins of the road. We want to base it on the closest collision point. And that's fucking annoying. I'm sorry my language, but that's annoying. But it makes sense now. So the problem is then that we are looking at the origin of the road, not the the collision point itself, right? So we're basing it off nodes. That's definitely not what we should do. Creating the house node, that makes sense. And we're creating we're finding the collision road, and then it's the intersection point between those two. That makes sense. Um, I guess, I mean, yes, the best thing to do would be to, yeah, then we have to extend it at some point. We have to extend this to like have a house builder that is like taking in these things already. So instead of having it like that, we should have the because this thing is created and destroyed in one step, in one go. So that's so we could put instead of having all of the values for this specific task being the action handler, we could have an action handler for specifically house builders, right? And delegate some responsibilities. But for now, we'll keep it in here. Okay, and so let's open this up again. So So let's just say collision road list is ds list create create. Yeah, we are even drawing some UI in here, so that's perfect. Build houses. Then we can say this. And at some point when there is enough if statements, we can change this into a switch case. But right now it doesn't really, it's not relevant enough. Okay. So the next step would then be to say for every step where we're in this, we calculate the collisions with the line and we order them. And that's basically what we're going to do. So we're going to go back. We're going to go into the house builder simple here. We're just gonna yeah, we're actually just gonna copy these three lines. We're actually just gonna copy this one line here. I'm gonna put it in here. We're gonna say ds list clear. So we're gonna clear it beforehand. Collision load. So it's literally the same name of the variable. That's fine. And okay, well, we're doing it, but we are not showcasing anything. So I want. I mean, we know the problem effectively here, right? So actually, hmm, it's kind of annoying that the way this is ordered is based on the origin of the objects and not the places collided. I mean, we have the math for creating the for calculating the angles and everything. That's fine. And it does work, and that's really, really nice. But I guess what we actually have to do is to make a function that makes a list for every collision list. Collision. Hmm. Hmm. I mean, this we can do this, but why would we? Well, this is too much of an. And see, I can think of a million different solutions here for this problem, but the thing is that they would all require too much computing power because we would have for every step to calculate a bunch of stuff. So we can just draw. Let me just draw like this here. Okay. I don't know what happened, but I think it's fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. Okay, cool. Um, So the next step here would then be to, if we do like this here, that's fine. But if we get too close to the origin, maybe, which could be, it's probably either here. Well, to save us some time and make this significantly easier, we will uh, just make the radius significantly smaller for the houses. I know that's very, yeah, I don't like it, let me be honest with you, but I think that's the best way to go about this right now. So we can set this back down to 64, I would argue. This should be fine. What we can do is we can replace all of these with 64 in here at least. Right? Then we can go in the action handler. We can, so when we draw or when we change we can say, yeah, it doesn't matter that much, right? It's put 64. Let's just say it's 80. So it just gets a little bit bigger when we change the rotation just for this display. Here we can set it to 64 again. And I guess here. Then we have to go into the step event as well. Just make sure, so yeah, here, 64 and 64. Not that actually. hmm, let me just comment these out right now, actually, because it's absolutely unnecessary to do all these calculations. Yeah, so as you can, we're not exactly done yet, because we're drawing a, this one. So now I think, I mean, unless we have this really close, even see, it's impossible to collide with the wrong road here. So there we go, and then we can like pretty simply connect all the stuff if you wanted to, and now we actually just starting to have a small city builder going. Quite janky, and of course we're gonna make the houses look nicer on top of the roads. And actually, I think that's probably what we should be doing now. So we can go into the room itself here. It's just called room one. We have some layers, and I want to see how we're drawing the roads right now and the houses, because it could be that we are, yeah. See here we're drawing all the roads and everything, and let's see, is this object created by the game event? Yes, it is indeed. Okay, so that's perfect. So what we can do is we can go in here. We can create a new instance layer. We can rename it to rows, yeah, and we can have it above the normal instances. We can go back into the game. We can go here, layer, and put the name of the layer. We just write like this, rows. Pretty sure that should do the trick. And we can just try and see if it does anything immediately. Probably doesn't. No, it probably not. It doesn't. And that's fine. And so we should probably, on top of roads, have some other things. For example, in this case, we would like to have houses on top of the roads. And how do we do that? We so we need to. I think what I would like to do first is actually just to draw a small house with a roof. So we can duplicate this one, house 0, I assume this is 16 by 16. Yeah. All right. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna resize this to 18 by 18. Okay. Then we're going to draw some. Let's see, 18 by 18. That's down there. So that should be pretty good. Let me do like this. We can copy this, put it there. Then we can put this in here. And yeah, I just want to make sure that we can actually see the house a little bit better because it became a little bit janky. I'm not the best pixel artist that I'll say that, but just make it really simple for now. All right. And something like that. It's really whatever. But I wanted to just draw something so we could see with an example here. So we're gonna make a new layer instances. We're gonna call these houses. Yeah. And so when we go into the road builder and we make a house. Let's see here. Oh, the house. Sorry, not the road builder. The house builder. Go into here and we create a house instead of creating it here. We will create it at layer houses. There we go. And I believe um, did I do something wrong? Hmm. What happened here now? This is because of the way. I mean, I'm drawing the roads on top of the. That's all good. I guess it's because the way we draw. Hmm. So the road network, that's the one drawing. It's not. What is it drawing? It's drawing an arrow for the lanes, and it's drawing circles for the roads. Okay. So we can. What if I? What if I just set this to not visible? Just want to see if it's how it looks. I mean, honestly, it looks pretty cool. Okay, and then we can build some houses now, and then the people will start coming in. And then I'll just put the house sprite on top of the houses, and then it should definitely look decent, right? So now we put the houses in here. We can just say like this draw. I mean, yeah. And we just put in all the I don't know if are they scaled up by a factor of two? I don't remember. But I'm pretty sure we can just use all of these. Yeah, let's try and see. Yeah, okay, so they are they're drawn by a scale of two. And so there we go. Look at that. That's pretty cool. Oh, we have some houses. So the next step would be I'm pretty sure that the gray parts of the house of the roads are being built somewhere else. So I would like to deal with that. Perhaps they're just being created. Hmm. Yeah. Well, okay. First question I'm gonna ask: where is our roads being drawn? Because I'm pretty sure it was not in here. Oh, it was in here. Sorry, my bad. Right here, they are being drawn, and then we're drawing some notes. What if I don't draw these notes here? Okay, I see. Great. And I just do it just down to 16 again. Yeah, so this is pretty much perfect now. And then we see these notes. Draw everything. Okay, so that's so cool. And now we can start making these neighborhoods. We could definitely keep going in terms of like setting up more tools, snapping tools, but I think I would like to move a bit in a different direction before we go deeper in, because I think some of those needs will pop up later by themselves. And so let's start looking into how we can do pathfinding. So let me just show you on the inside the game itself what I want to happen. So let's just draw a square or a rectangle here. Now assume a player is coming from up here, from the top left corner, and his house is down here. Okay, I'm not gonna put it down. Just gonna ask you to pretend. Now, how it is right now is he's just gonna walk in a straight arrow down here. Okay, he does not care about the roads at all. What I would like to have happen is that he can choose between going straight like this. I want there to be, let's say, a penalty for walking on grass, walking on things that are not roads. And then I want him or her, I want the citizen to determine for themselves which road is the fastest, right? And so I want, and then let's say that this here is would be the example. I want at least this path here to here to be to take shorter amount of time than it would be if you had just had to cross right there. Okay. Of course, if we have buildings in here and everything, it would also make a difference in terms of like being in the way for his movement. But if we just say that they have to follow these notes and everything, I think uh, that would be the best start. Okay. And so for the calculation in this time around will be okay. what is the closest node here actually? Closest node is this one here. So I'll go to this node. From which node will the distance then be, right, closest to the house down here? And perhaps there's a slight difference in the calculation here. Perhaps this one is a little bit closer, or perhaps this one's a little bit closer. I think doesn't really matter. Um, but then they will look at the connecting nodes, right? And this in itself, if you have to just say brute force the solution, would be very slow because as soon as you get like 100 different citizens at the same time that want to move in, it's going to be a big problem. And so there are, of course, solutions that are made out in the real world for these kinds of problems. Um, and we will probably be inspired by them over time. But that's for another day. Today we just want to set up the significant, like the we want to make sure that we can build, that we can do pathfinding pretty soon. So now we create this guy. Oh, he's actually coming from up there, and he's walking there. Okay. But we can agree that everything looks pretty good right now. So there's two things I think I would like to do. So then when the pedestrian here has a target, I want to set that target over time, right? So we can find the place where it is being, like where it's targeted, where the target is being set right now. You can see here, perhaps this is where it's being done. It would most likely be. So we have unoccupied houses, and we can choose some houses. And here we set the target for the passengers, which in this case is just one pedestrian every time. As I said before, one of the issues is that I don't comment anything here. Let me just write something. This is the simple solution for now. If there are any unoccupied houses, create a house to move in. And that's just like, I guess that's just the first house. Yeah. Yeah, here up here we go for it. We check every single house. Is there any house that has unoccupied people? Again, this can be optimized later to just like I have a global counter of unoccupied houses, something like that. Should not be that big a deal. Should not be that big a deal right now at this scale. We chose where they start, and then we don't choose anything else. Then we just uh, create them like this. I set the target there. So I think the final target is fine, that it's the house. Then we should probably have like, we should either have a list of like of the entire path at hand, or we should, once we get to a new node, say, which is the next node. That is closest. And then we can like kind of, like fill out backwards. And the question would then be how to do that efficiently. But I think I will shut down the stream now, and I think I'll do some research on it. on pathfinding for these kinds of things, so that I next time we stream, I'll be able to start doing some really cool implementations. So it's almost been an hour, and I think that's a pretty good time to stop. Um, Thank you for participating, and if not before, then I will hopefully be streaming on Sunday. Trying to stream every Sunday, and yeah, yesterday it didn't happen, so that's why I'm doing it now. Thank you, everybody who participated, and I will see you guys next time.